For more than 30 years, Summit Racing Equipment has been featuring incredible vehicles like yours in our high-performance auto parts catalog. From the legendary Detroit Autorama to small neighborhood shows, we're always on the lookout for new rides to share with our customers. Until now, they've lived in our catalogs and on our blog onallcylinders.com. But today, we're here taking a closer look at the car featured in our latest catalog, Paul Rivard's 1974 Camaro. Paul bought this car, originally a Type LT, with a trusty 350 under the hood in the fall of 2018. When he got it home, 2 hours later, it was stripped down to a shell. That's a quick teardown by any measure. Paul knows second-gen Camaros better than just about anyone. Right now, there's also a 70 and a 77 in his garage, and these are just 3 of the 15 cars that he's owned in his lifetime. The story of Paul's build actually starts with his old 1971 Nova. After converting the car from a drag racer to a pro touring car, Paul discovered his love of autocross. With that in mind, the 50-year-old F-body was built to handle like a modern sports car. With RideTech suspension, 18-inch 30/30 Autosport wheels, and Firestone Firehawk rubbers on all 4 corners. But let's back up a second and talk about the incredible looks of Paul's Camaro. Camaro diehards might already know this, but 1974 was a 1-year-only body style featuring the new design for the front and rear bumpers that stuck way out there, plus the smaller rear window of the earlier second-gen cars. Looking at it, you can tell that there's been some modifications, but it's tough to tell exactly where unless you're a Camaro expert. Let's start with the bumpers. Paul swapped those distinctive front impact bumpers for a set of Camaro stock car racing bumpers that he massaged, tweaked, and tucked in to create a much tidier look. The lower valance panel was also modified, and the lower grille to add a more aggressive front end look. One of the most time-consuming mods was the addition of the flush front and rear windows, while they eliminate the chrome trim, creating a much smoother, more modern look. Let's just say they didn't drop right in. Paul has about 30 hours into each window to get them to fit just right. Out back, the license plate was moved below the bumper to a modified valance panel, and the panel in between the taillights was filled in. And this RideTech fuel filler, originally designed for the first-generation Camaros, was added to complete the look. While Paul handled all the metalwork, he'll be the first to admit that painting isn't his forte. He asked his friend Mike Bolio, the owner of Mike's Auto Body in New Hampshire, to shoot the GM Emerald Green. It's a modern take on the original 1974 color, and it looks amazing with the bronze alloy wheels. And of course, everybody wants to know what's under the hood, so let's take a closer look. That air cleaner lid isn't lying, and it is a 427, but not the one you're probably thinking. This started life as an LS3 and was bored and stroked from 376 to 427 cubic inches. Holley's Stealth Terminator EFI system handles the fueling, and a set of big block style valve covers from LS Classic delivers that traditional look that makes you do a double take. It makes big block power too, over 600 horsepower routed through a Tremec Magnum 6-speed transmission. And this thing sounds rowdy as well. Thanks to a custom 3-inch exhaust and Pipes Racing Pro mufflers, let's take a listen. Inside, Paul's created a space that matches the exterior styling upgrades, mixing modern comfort and performance. TMI Pro Series buckets help keep him planted on the autocross course, and the custom dashboard houses a Holley Pro Dash digital display. Tunes come complimentary of an Alpine head unit and vintage air to keep you cool as well. So how does a 70s Camaro with modern power and race-inspired suspension perform out on the road? Well, there's only one way to find out. So let's hop in with Paul and go for a spin.
Hi guys.
Tell us what you like to do with this car. Obviously, you've kind of had a modern drive terrain.
This right here, taking corners, cruising hard back roads. just driving it. I mean, it loves to drive on the highway. You get it up on 75, 80 miles an hour, it just cruises. It's smooth, and take it around some hard corners, take an off ramp, just hammer the thing and have some fun.
So when you brought this thing home, you know, you tore it apart right away and got into it. From there, what was kind of the next step? Was there a lot of, obviously there's a ton of body modification. So tell us a little bit about everything, how you went through that. And you're quite by looking at the outside of the car, you're quite a whiz at metalwork.
It took some time to figure out how I was going to change the bumpers. I originally was trying to figure out a way to somehow use the 70 to 73 front and rear bumper on the car. And I had a set, I matched them up. Nothing I did looked quite right. So I happened to come across stock car bumpers. They were god-awful, overly large and everything else. So I started cutting them apart and making what I wanted, and this is what came out of it. Then it was, all right, what do I do with the valance to fix that problem of the big holes that are in it now? So that was all fiberglass and rebuilt. And then what do I do for a grill? For the lower section, the lower grill was only about 2 inches tall, and now I had a 9-inch tall hole to fill. By sheer luck, I happened to grab the upper grill and flipped it upside down, and it dropped right into place and fit like it was supposed to be there.
I love when a good plan like that comes together.
There was no plan, that was just luck. nothing more than straight out luck. So I got that straightened out, then I started looking more at the back, and I had the bumper set up the way I wanted, but I started looking at the 67, 68 Camaro tail pan, and I liked the cleaner look up top with the license plate out of the way. So I went with the stock car bumper on the back as well, modified that. Then I decided I used the the filler for the fuel is actually a 67, 68 Ride Tech aluminum filler housing for a 67, 68 Camaro.
Yeah, no, the filler neck, I really like it. It's just that it's a nice complementary piece of billet, kind of ties that whole bumper in. And there's so many fun little details on this car that if you weren't, like, I'm not a Camaro guy, and I would think that was all factory work because of how amazing this thing looks.
Thank you. Yeah, and that was kind of the point. A lot of the point of the build is if you didn't know the car, it just looks cool when, like, the paint catches your attention and the wheels catch your attention. Then if you're a Camaro guy, you start looking at the bumpers, you start looking at the flush mount glass, you start looking at just the little differences, the things that, wait a minute, that car didn't come that way. The dashboard, this whole dashboard in here, there's no more glove box, it's a total fiberglass dashboard. The console's custom as well. And that's what I wanted. I wanted it subtle. I didn't want it to be in your face, big modification, you know, like some of the, you see the car shows where they just go totally overboard with a car, and I didn't want that. I wanted everything done to be relatively subtle.
Now, it's a do-all car. You can go drive this thing to Friday Night Car Show. You're a big autocross guy, which is cool. But this is a kind of good at a lot of things car, so you can drive it and do all this.
Yeah, it'll never be a perfect at everything, because, I mean, unfortunately, if you really want to get serious in the autocross, it would have to be a much stiffer suspension than this. But I wanted to be, a multi-purpose car. Take it to a cruise show. I mean, I go out to dinner with the car, dude. Take it out to wherever. And people like, you drive this every day? I'm like, yeah, that's what I built it for.
Yeah. Did you think about a small block at all, or did you know what kind of LS you wanted to build?
It was LS from the word go on this one, yeah, absolutely. I had the block and heads already from another project, so it was the goal all along. It was nice because aluminum block LS, I could drop it right pick it up, bring it over, bare block, drop in the frame, jig the tranny up to it. Like I welded the entire subframe. All the welds are cleaned up on it, and it's all smooth, and then it's powder coated. So I could jig everything into place, get all my mounts, know where everything is gonna be before I put it all together. Swapping this motor into this car was not difficult. It's basically got the Holley system in it. Engine mounts, headers, transmission mount, and it all works pretty seamlessly together.
Yeah, and that's the cool part, is like to do something like this, you can get this all out of our Summit Racing catalog to do no problem and do it right in your own garage.
Yep.
Yeah, man, this drive has been absolutely so much fun, Paul. Thanks for taking me for riding this thing, and it drives and sounds just as good as it looks.
Thank you.
Head on over to onallcylinders.com to learn more about Paul's Camaro and see all the specs. And be sure to visit summitracing.com to shop for everything for your own build, including many of the parts found here on Paul's Camaro. If you're new around here, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Summit Racing YouTube channel and punch that notification bell so you're the first to know. So until next time, I'm Justin with Summit Racing. Thanks for watching, and the golden question is, what are you working on?